G'day guys, how you doing? It's the Kiwi, back with another video. How you all doing? It's been a hot minute, I know. Things have been a little bit busy for me. Had to get some projects done for the SEMA show in Vegas. The business up in the Pacific Northwest is now taking off. So I'm literally down here on a Sunday right now, building stuff for that business. And as the title says, life's come full circle for me. For want of a better term, the hero's journey. Now, before I get going on this subject, I really need you to know that I do not consider myself a hero in any way, shape, or form. And I mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart and soul. It's just a term that is used to describe this ancient path that man and woman have gone down for who knows how many thousands upon thousands of years. And I can quite honestly say that I am incredibly humbled beyond belief to say that I've experienced this journey for the last 30 years and that I am now on the backside of it. I've gone full circle, like full circle. So how did this come about? July this year, I ended up in Incline Village purely by accident. A friend of mine, his wife, sadly died in an extremely tragic way up in Reno, and I just couldn't tell him I'm sorry, sending him a text message or over the phone. I had to drive up to Reno and see him personally. He'd only just moved up there a few weeks, been up there a few weeks. So I got up there and I did exactly what I said I'd do. Gave him a hug in the middle of the street, shed a tear with him genuinely, and sat down and had a couple of beers with the guy. Following day, he wanted to take his kids and his eldest daughter's husband, his son-in-law, up to Tahoe. Wanted to check out Tahoe, show the kids around, that sort of stuff. His rig was full. I followed him up there in my truck, just outside of South Lake Tahoe, and he pulls over, he's like, "Bro, I'm so sorry, dude. I've got to head back to Reno. Little John's got to be at the airport in a couple of hours." He's like, "I completely spaced." I'm like, "It's all good, bro. No worries. We're good." And he's like, "You can either follow us back or chill out up here." And I said, "I'm going to chill out up here." We just went past the turnoff for Incline Village. I want to just shoot on into Incline Village, check that out. He's like, "Okay, cool." So he went his way, and I headed towards Incline Village. So I'm cruising through Incline Village. You know, nothing special about Incline Village outside of the fact that 26 years ago, that's where I got married. Straight up. So we're driving down the main drag of Incline Village, and we come up on a sports bar, Rookies. And I'm looking at it like, holy shit, that place is still there. Unbelievable. Okay, I want to check this out, right? Turn into the Rayleigh's parking lot. I'm looking around like, oh my God. This place hasn't changed in any way, shape, or form in the last 26 years. So I rock on into Rookies, and I'm just, again, blown away. The place hasn't changed in any way, shape, or form. The one thing that was changing literally that Friday was the flooring in the area where the pool tables were at. So I grabbed myself an iced tea, went and sat out on the front balcony, patio that looks out over the main drag in Incline Village there. And I started a process like that week. We're in Incline Village at Tahoe getting married, and then everything else started to play out, like all the pain and heartache and misery and debauchery that had gone on from literally when I met my now ex-wife. And it was incredible because I had all these feelings and all these emotions just like playing through me. It's like a movie screen, just all these different events and everything. And I was just like, oh my God. And I started to have this feeling of, just this incredible feeling of strength and invincibility, that I'd made it through all this stuff. Like I felt these incredible feelings just passing through me. And it wasn't until, it was literally a couple of weeks later, actually, in all honesty, that I realized that when I was there experiencing those feelings, it was literally the week, 20 years to the week, that the doo-doo hit the fan that ended up ushering in both my ex and myself having our divorce. We'd already been separated for a year, but that week of July was the week, literally 20 years ago, that set in motion us getting a divorce. And literally within a couple of months, we were divorced. That was it. So over the last few months, there's been a lot of stuff playing out inside of me, right? I thought I had come full circle. I had these feelings of invincibility. I had these feelings of strength. And you have these feelings when you've slayed dragon after dragon after dragon after dragon, when you've gone to battle with your demons, when you've danced with the devil in the pale moonlight, when you've done the level of shadow work that I've had to do because of how unbelievably abused I was as a kid. I mean, I'm talking about shadow work where you're working with a legitimate shaman and deep meditation. You're vomiting, you're feeling the pain, the beatings, the abuse. You're reliving everything. It's some of the most gnarly, painful work that you could ever possibly do as a human being. It is unfrickin' believable. So I understand real shadow work. Like, real shadow work is, one, not for the faint of heart, and two, all these people that are out there talking about shadow work today, because it's kind of a new age term to throw around, we'll talk about shadow work in far greater depths in other videos from here on out. The reality of the situation is that I thought my life had come full circle. But something over the last few months happened that I'd read about, but I never ever thought for a minute it would happen to me. And what it is even though I'd done all that shadow work, even though I'd done all that deep inner soul healing work, working with the inner boy, the wounding, all that stuff, right? Even though I'd done all that work, it shows back up. And my God, does it show back up. August. Wham! Look, full disclosure, during the last 25 years, especially the last 20 years of my life, there's been a number of occasions where I've been staring down the barrel of a gun, okay? And literally, the hands on that gun on the other end were my own. And I make no bones about that. The only thing that brought me through was I couldn't bring that shame and that pain and that heartache upon my daughter. My daughter is an incredibly beautiful and sensitive human being. She's one for the ages. And I couldn't do that to her. So, for want of a better term, it was actually my daughter that, in many respects, saved my life also, to be quite honest with you guys. So, what happened is you start having these emotions from all this stuff just going, surprise! And you're like, dude, and you are fighting with every ounce of your soul, who you are, you name it, whatever it is, you're fighting with everything that you've got to get through each day, to get through the night. And thank God I'd done the shadow work, because I was able to actually like do deep diving, go into this state of meditation, go into these different, where this darkness was coming from, and fight those dragons again. But this time you're really fighting them, and I'm not joking. It's like in symbolic sight, you are legitimately fighting this darkness. It is unreal. So you come out the other end of it, and you're like, okay, thank God I got that out of the way. So I start doing what they say is, before the God, nature, creation, universe is going to give you the keys to the kingdom, it will test you one last time. And not just test you, but test you in a way that you've never, ever thought possible. Like, it takes you right up to the razor's edge. You are standing on the abyss of darkness like you've never experienced before in your frickin' life. So that was July. That was August. No, sorry, not July. That was August. That was September. And that was October. Each month I had those battles to fight internally, where I was literally on my knees in tears, hands clasped, bunched my head, praying, God, what have I done wrong? Get me through this in some way, shape, or form. Please. I couldn't figure out what I'd done wrong in any way, shape, or form. Like, what have I done to deserve this? I've done everything in my life, everything in my power. I've done everything possible. Why is this happening? So you'd have about a week of it, then you'd have a break for about 3 weeks, and then wham, you'd get hit again. Well, so far this month, November, I haven't been hit with that. And based on the last couple of months, I know the timeline that would happen. This is what did happen. We got to the end of getting everything ready for the SEMA show. The company that I work for here, they headed off to Vegas. I told the owner, I'm like, dude, I'm heading out into the wilderness. I'm going into the mountains. I am not going to a hellhole like Las Vegas. I need to breathe. So I was out in the mountains. The second day, I got hit with this feeling of, it was unreal. Just this incredible feeling of humility, this humbleness inside of myself. I felt it right in my sacral area. This is where your sacral chakras are at. And I was just like, oh my God, this is just, it's beautiful. I mean it. It's unreal. And you feel this groundedness, like you become, it's like you become just locked in with the planet. You feel this groundedness inside of you. It's like you feel the entire universe, God, nature, creation. You feel at one with all of it. And I was just sitting there like, oh my God. And I was just looking out of the truck, looking out into the woods, and I was just like, this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I can feel it right now. Like when I talk about it and I feel it, I experience it, gives me chills. Like when I first started explaining it to you guys, it gave me chills. And since then, it's like my world has changed. Even though everything looks the same, everything's changed. It's like everything I'm doing now is effortless. The work that I do is effortless. I find happiness and joy in the simplest things. There's this feeling of wholeness that is unbelievable. It's like you've got the masculine and the feminine balance, the earth, the universe, everything is in balance, in harmony inside of you. And it is, quite frankly, one of the most surreal experiences out. And that's why I was saying it's like life has come full circle. I am literally feel like I'm back at the point that I was at when I first started out on this journey. Like I've got that feeling of happiness and joy in regards to life and everything that I want to do in this world, but without the naivety. Because I have the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding that I really, really, really need to be able to move forward in this life in an extremely strong way, in a very formidable way, because I'm still an extremely empathetic, kind, caring person. However, it's like my shadow side now is perfect. Like that darkness side of myself now is just perfectly balanced there. It's just sitting there, and it's it's that having you just end up being this incredibly well balanced and centered individual. It's like you feel like when I can call on my shadow, like the darkness side of myself now, just to shut people down in a nice way. I'm not a dick, I'm not an a-hole or anything like that. I will speak my mind, but you speak it with such authority that people won't even hesitate to back off. So what I want to do is I want to be able to explain this stuff to you guys in greater detail. I want to be able to walk you guys through this stuff. Because I feel like we're in a time, well, I don't feel like, I know that we're in a time frame now where there's going to be a lot of trials and a lot of tribulations placed out there for men and women, because this timeline, and I'll do a video about this in greater depth now, this timeline is about truth. So, but I'll save that for the next video. But yeah, until the next video, guys, make it great. And like I said, we'll definitely, we're going to build on this stuff. Alrighty? I'm not going anywhere. So yeah, we'll talk to you fellas soon. Alrighty? Take care.